The 2012 Nigeria floods began in early July of that year and have killed 363 people and displaced over 2 million. One of the main causes for the flood are the seasonal flash floods that occur during the country's rainy season. These flash floods are sometimes lethal, especially in the rural areas or overcrowded slums, where drainage is either poor or does not exist at all. In terms of social life in Nigeria, the country has political instability, corruption, inadequate infrastructure, and poor macroeconomic management, where 70% of its population lives below the poverty line. In terms of technology, Nigeria needs further expansion and modernization of the fixed-line telephone network, in addition to an improvement in network quality.
Prior to the flood, emergency and crisis notification infrastructure was not highly invested in by the government. Most people were notified of refugee camp information and flooding updates on a community-wide level as the events were occurring, rather than as an available measure beforehand. One of the biggest issues is associated with the actual flooding phenomenon itself. Much of the flooding was attributed to the inadequate communication about appropriate dam levels and public littering habits, which often blocked drainage channels. Public awareness and outreach campaigns implemented on a mass level through technological means could help teach Nigerian citizens how their habits could increase potential flooding. Since the flood in 2012, the Nigerian government, as well as other organizations, such as the Nigerian Red Cross, have made major adjustments and improvements in their mitigation attempts. One important adjustment includes being culturally aware. Based on an ifrc.org, many villages in Nigeria believe that putting frogs in a well will make water safe to drink. To help fix these misconceptions, mobile volunteers actively visit the Nigerian people and train them in health and hygiene. Another major adjustment includes knowing what to do during a flood. One shocking statistic shows that a majority of people suffered in 2012 because they did not know how to react during a flood. Today, tactics like getting to higher ground and basic evacuation techniques are more commonly practiced. Since 2012, there have been many projects and solutions proposed to help with future Nigerian floods, one of which is the Ibadan Urban Flood Management Project. This project aims to improve flood resilience by strengthening risk identification, improving drainage to mitigate flood risks, implementing erosion control measures, identifying sensitive areas, and much more, with the goal of improving safety. Projects like these are based off of annual rainfall and temperature trends, which are good indicators for flood risk. Annual Flood Outlook is also another promising solution. This system was designed by the Nigerian federal government to predict increased rainfall and highlight key areas that could be affected by floods. With this useful information, suggestions are offered to the general public as how to anticipate flooding. The Flood Outlook will also act as a warning method to notify families in danger of flooding so that the necessary actions can be made before the event of a flood.
In response to natural disasters, the most important step is to select a distribution system that is appropriate for the emergency situation. As you can see, the table provides advantages and disadvantages for potential systems for distributions of food and resources. In terms of the Nigerian flood, we believe that the most appropriate method would be through new groups or committees. Basically, form groups on an as-needed basis so that areas that are most likely to be affected have leaders and representatives to aid in the distribution process. This is the best method for Nigeria because it is self-monitored, low cost, and does not rely on government officials, since their government is historically known for being unreliable and unstable. In order for the distribution system to work properly, there are many management aspects that need to be accounted for. First, it is important to deliver and distribute food and resources early, meaning immediately following the emergency situation, food should be delivered, and distribution should start early in the morning. Since there are groups dedicated to different affected areas, it is important to organize distributions simultaneously in neighboring communities. This will prevent people from going to multiple distribution sites or prevent people from flocking to just one distribution site. Additionally, there must be an adequate amount of distributors and security guards proportional to the population of the affected community. Security is vital during the distribution process, so it is important to exclude non-authorized people from the distribution area to prevent looting and loss of food or resources.
The best way to inform the Nigerian population of where to go and where to find help during the floods would be through the use of mobile technology. Cell phones are one of the most widely used technologies around the world. Cell phone tracking methods are usable almost anywhere to identify population movements, as 86% of the world's population has access to cellular networks. Nigeria's mobile cellular user base is on the rise at approximately 95 million subscribers. Therefore, the use of mobile technology to facilitate response and recovery phases of the Nigerian floods is the way to go. After Haiti's earthquake in 2010, researchers from Columbia University mapped population movements of Haitian civilians by following location data from about 2 million phones in the days after the disaster. This same technology can be used for Nigerian flood disasters. This way, relief workers can quickly pinpoint where people are heading post-disaster, so information and relief supplies can go to emergency aid coordinators. Making a mobile application where Nigerians with mobile phones, Red Cross volunteers, and relief workers can create an account and report events of the natural disaster would be very useful. This mobile application would work as a real-time mapping platform and data collection system, similar to CrowdMap and the LRA Crisis Tracker. Trained Red Cross volunteers can geocode locations where they have set up first aid tents and food for flood victims. Civilians can also geocode where they currently are and what is going on at the location, such as damages caused by the flood, deaths, missing people, etc. Civilians can mark the extent of danger for the location based on the color of the marker on the map as well. The mobile application would be built in with a check-in tool for emergencies, similar to Ping. Nigerians can create a list of friends and family members close to them, and once everyone adds each other on Ping, then anyone can send out a 120-character message to their loved ones when a flood occurs. The message goes out 3 times, once every 5 minutes, and will go out via text message or email. If there is a response, then that person is considered okay. If no response, then 3 messages get sent to their other contact. This check-in tool would be a great way to stay in touch with loved ones during crisis. Additionally, reports of trapped people and medical emergencies collected by free SMS text messages to a 4-digit number connected to this application can be plotted on an online map used by relief workers. In terms of providing support for people in distress after the natural disaster, people all over the world can go to the respective website of this mobile application and donate to the flood victims in Nigeria through a simple Venmo or credit card payment. Civilians can also use the app to create forums after the natural disaster and communicate with other flood victims to see how they're doing, as well as set up group meetings.
Here's an example of how media and communication technology was utilized during Haiti relief efforts. As you can see, they used SMS broadcasts, Mission 4636, local media, geotagging, and crowdsourced maps in order to help Haitians during their time of need. In conclusion, we propose a solution that addresses mitigation techniques, improves awareness, and improves response and recovery times. In order to improve response and recovery, we recommend selecting an appropriate distribution system, starting distribution of resources early, and getting local community leaders and security to organize the distribution. We also suggest using technologies such as mobile applications, geolocation, online mapping, and Ping.